Hey guys, it's Matt with Bromance Wargaming. I'm here with game 3 of my little one-day tournament that I went to, and this game had a fun little scenario, but you won't get to see it showcased very much. In this one, you deploy like Blood and Glory, you put an objective down, and the attacker, you roll off, and the highest roller is the defender. He puts an objective in a unit, and essentially you're trying to get that objective from the unit. If that unit is killed by shooting or magic, the objective is lost and nobody can gain it. Otherwise, you can trade it back and forth. Like if the attacker kills the defender's unit, the attacking unit gets it, and then that unit can be killed and it could be transferred back to the defender. You get extra points for whoever controls it, and you get more points if you're the defender if it's the same unit that keeps it. So I'm on table 3. Things are looking pretty good, but this is my first time facing demons with the Dark Elves, and it is the Epidemius wall. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. This is his deployment from right to left. He's got unmarked Furies, 3 drones, 8 beasts. I want to say 40 Plague Bearers. He has the 5-up poison BSB Herald in there, and he went ahead and put Epidemius in the unit because I can't pick him out with anything. I don't have any kind of cannons or anything. Further over here to the left is more unmarked Furies, and then hiding behind those trees is a unit of 7 beasts, and then there's 3 more Plague Flies. This is what my deployment looks like. On the left, I've got some Dark Riders. I've got 30 Corsairs. The BSB is in there. He's got a 1-up rerollable. I should mention that Marathi chose Lore of Shadow in this game, and I'll get to that actually in the summary, because that turns out to be a big deal. But she chose Shadow. She got Pendulum, Mind Razor, the Withering, and then she took Miasma instead of Steed of Shadows. This is what the rest of my deployment looks like. You can see the 25 Blackguard. You can see my Warlocks are hanging out in the back. You can see Morathi. You can see Ultra PP and Heinrich and the Cold One Chariot, and then some more Dark Riders on the other side. It's open list, and for some reason I thought that I was going to use my Dark Riders out on the flanks. I don't know. I learned a lot from this game, this being the first game I played. And so looking back at this report now, I really just see things that I should have done differently. And again, I'll try and get to all that at the end. So my opponent wins the roll to go first, and he pushes everything up. I forget that beasts are movement 6, so they're all up in my business, and he gives no shits about being triple charged by everything. Over here, the flies actually get into my Dark Riders. I stood and shot. I want to say it was like a 10-inch charge, and he just bombed right in there. I did no wounds with the stand and shoot, but I just didn't think he was going to make it, and I didn't learn from the game that I just posted with me and Yoshi playing, and I just accepted that charge. On the other hand, I didn't really have much for these guys to do. I wasn't, perhaps foolishly, I wasn't too scared of the Nurgle blocks. I really thought I was going to get in there into the block with Epidemius and start beating him up, and I wasn't going to need these redirectors, so I was happy to tie the flies up for a little bit. And you can see what happened. No surprise there. I think the surprise is I did a wound to one. They beat me up and reformed. This is a picture of what my first turn looks like. I'm going to go ahead and mention, because I forgot to, his only wizard is the BSB. He has a level 1 wizard. So I really am feeling like I'm going to do all my heavy lifting with magic. You know, I have Occams. I'm just going to throw stuff into beasts or what have you, and I'm just going to explode everything. So I kind of turn my Corsairs to face the flies and the beast, because I don't think, at this point, I don't know that beasts have Swift Stride, so I'm thinking, oh, well, neither one of them will make it in, but not both of them. The Warlocks are still hiding. The Blackguard move up, but not too terribly far, because, again, I don't think that beasts have Swift Stride, so I'm like, that's a far charge, and he has to come to me because I have magic. And this picture is just beautiful. All 3 of my favorite things charging into a unit of beasts. I move Morathi up because I'm trying to get Pendulum off this turn, and I get like 3 dice. So I throw it. I'm sorry. yeah, I do try to get Pendulum off this turn, and I have like 3 dice, and I throw it at the Withering, and I wither the beast down by 3 toughness, and I want to say like 8 wounds. Now, my opponent is rolling really, really well for his regen and wards throughout the game. So, but I actually felt pretty good, and he did a bunch of wounds to Ultra PP, which I thought was unfortunate, but poison really helped there, and he did like a wound. Actually, he did 4 wounds to Heinrich, who regened 3 of those back at the end of my turn because he's awesome. And then my opponent just didn't care about the chariot. This picture is his turn 2. You can see he just easily mopped up my monsters. I did a couple more wounds to him. I pulled another beast off and I want to say I did like 5 wounds or something, but it wasn't enough. He mopped my monsters up, and my chariot stuck around because I think I lost by 1 because there just weren't that many wounds to do, and I did a decent amount to him. So, but yeah, he's beating me up. Over here on the right, you can see at the very top of the screen, you can see my white Dark Riders. I am attempting to kill Chaos Furies. I think I should have redirected the flies or the beast. Maybe I should not be up there chasing the Chaos Furies, but I did it because I thought I could kill them in a single like volley. I thought I could do something. I forgot that they don't. I didn't forget, but it didn't occur to me that they didn't take panic tests, so I had to actually kill them all the way. And I don't know. It was dumb of me, and I did it, and it really frustrates me now to look back on it. Actually, I lied. You can tell here that I did break with the chariot, so I must have not done hardly any wounds at all. So there I am running away like a scared chariot. I want to say the chariot has 2 wounds left at this point. And here's what the other side of the board looks like. The beast did fail that charge. I learned that they had Swift Stride, and thankfully they failed. I think they needed like an 8, and so my Corsairs peed themselves a little bit. I did a couple wounds. I want to say I did 3 wounds to the flies with my Corsairs, and he did a lot of wounds to me, but I stuck. I'm steadfast. Doesn't really matter. I'm doing okay. And he charged Epidemius' unit into my Blackguard, and I was fine with that, and I put a bunch of attacks on his Blackguard, on Epidemius. I put every attack I could on Epidemius, and I want to say I got 4 or 5 wounds through, and he made all the saves. I didn't do a single wound to him this round of combat, and it was very frustrating, because I know, even though I don't know much about the Epidemius wall, I know I have to kill him, and that's just not the way to do it. This is what combat looks like after my turn. You can see I've moved Marathi around. She's out of charge arc of the beasts. And he's killed a crap ton more Blackguard. I've left everybody in base with Epidemius. This turn, I do 2 wounds to Epidemius. So he's only got 2 left because the stupid Panlequin, or however you pronounce it, has 4 wounds. So frustratingly, he's not dead. And he's just getting... I think his tally is full at this point. So at the start of his turn 3, he's just going to have all of the buffs. And he's chewing through some Corsairs. And my Warlocks are trying to move around, and I'm not getting much magic. And again, I keep saying I'm going to come back to stuff at the end, but this is really when I started to realize that magic was carrying my list the first 2 games, because when I was getting 2 and 3 and 4 dice phases, I just couldn't do anything. He was dispelling me. I was getting bad splits, and that started to really hurt, especially when Epidemius was at 100% power. This is my turn. If I said last picture was my turn, this is my turn, and you can see that he killed the Blackguard. This must be after combat on that turn, and again I did some wounds to Epidemius. Everybody passed their panic check or whatever, but he actually spent a long time trying to decide whether he was going to charge the Warlocks or Marathi, and he has the Furies facing Marathi, and so he's like, well, I could pick up Marathi's points. And I told him that he could do whatever he wanted to, but that it probably made more sense to charge the Corsairs in the flank and then overrun into the Warlocks. And he thought that was a good idea. He came to it either right before I said it or at the same time. So we just kind of like mentally high-fived that he was going to wreck my army. And I've kind of given up on this game. It's now going to be a game of keep away from the Bad Touch Nurgle list. So, of course, he breaks the Corsairs. He gets into my Warlocks. I can't really do anything about it. I'm going to put all my attacks on Epidemius. I got 4 attacks plus 2 horses. At this point, I'm just trying to get points. I have to get something. and it's just not going to work. By the way, he was the defender. This was the unit that had the token, and with both of my combat blocks gone, I don't have anything left at this point. I have one unit of Dark Riders and this unit of Warlocks and another unit of Warlocks, and that's what I have left on the board, plus Morathi. So I'm just never going to get the token, so all I can do is just try to magic stuff to death, and he's killing my Doom Bolts. He's charging in the Furies just to stick Morathi there. I stuck because I thought that she could actually win that fight, and she does, but he's rolling really well for his wins. Like, I'm figuring the Furies are really bad leadership, so I'm going to win and they're going to pop. But Morathi doesn't do very much this first round. Again, he's rolling amazingly with his ward saves. These guys don't even get the reroll from Epidemius being fully charged. And I do 1 wound, he has a charge, so it's a push. So I thought with 6 attacks I was going to win. They were going to, pop, and then I could do whatever I wanted to on my turn. But I was sorely mistaken. This is my 3, me running away, him killing some people. It's just all downhill. I'm trying to cast stuff, and nothing I cast is really worth it. I don't have any death spells. I don't have any spells that would cause a lot of death, and so he doesn't really even care what I'm doing. Of course, the Plague Bearers and Epidemius. Epidemius takes, I want to say, 1 more wound, but now I'm out of things to try and hurt him, and they, of course, finish off those Warlocks. So one thing that kept happening that really, it doesn't frustrate me because the whole game is in the crapper. Over here on the left, you can see he got a free unit. He put Horrors down. They charged my Warlocks. I was frustrated about that because I thought I had left them in my front and I had the chance to move them, and it was just bad play. I wasn't checking arcs. I was really just checked out at this point. I think he was cool enough that if I had made a stink about it, he would have just charged me in the front, but I'm not too terribly worried about it. I mean, it is what it is. He's got all the points in the world off of me anyway, so it's just a dice rolling thing. He gets flies into me, beats me up. And the thing that would frustrate me if this was a closer game is he keeps breaking me on my turn. Like, he'll charge in and I'll hold randomly on like a 3 or a 2 or something ridiculous, and then on my turn he'll just kill me, so he'll reform and then he'll charge me. And that's what happened with the Furies. Like, I finally beat the Furies, but it was on my turn, so then he charged the flies in, and again, if I had fled, he had the beast facing towards where I was going to fly. He had the plague bearers that probably could have charged at least somebody out. He was going to try and catch them. It was going to be really ridiculous. I think he has some Furies back there too that were going to try and catch her. It was just never going to happen. She was never going to get away. Here's just a picture of Morathi somehow survived that charge. She has a single wound done to her, and I want to say she did like 2 wounds to those guys. But I mean, this is just the convergence of all the Nurgle stuff in the world, and Nurgle is really mad that I worship Slaanesh. Over here I got a lucky break. I beat them in combat. They didn't do any wounds to me. I turned to face them. I want to say I lost by 1, but I passed my break check because Morathi's still alive. And I turned to face them, and that's fun. I mean, I'm going to take Beast in the butt there, but what are you going to do? At least I'm going to get a chance to kill some pink horrors that are worth 0 points, right? Here's a picture of what's left. The Beasts, actually, I think they didn't even make that charge, or maybe they did, and I just scooped those models. And the flies killed Morathi, so that's that. I have 1 unit left on the table. This is what has happened, and it's like I want to say it's turn 5. It's not even turn 6 yet. So here's this last picture. It just shows my stupidity. I never did kill that last Chaos Fury, or maybe wait, I think I did. I finally killed that last Chaos Fury. I did 4 wounds to him, and he made 3 of 4 ward saves, but luckily there was only 1, and so I killed it. So this is the last picture of the game, and that unit did something, but it was terrible. So obviously it was a complete rout with total victory given to the demons, and I got 1 point for the massacre loss, which puts me at like 58 out of 105 points, so I didn't come anywhere near close. My opponent this last time actually vaults to 2nd place overall, so congratulations to him. And just some stuff I learned, and this is all things that I kind of alluded to earlier in the video. First thing is I should have taken Death Magic. I could have taken Death Magic with Marathi because she chooses at the beginning of every game. Remember, I got a 1, a 3, a 4, and a 6. That translates into really good death spells. I would have had triple Soul Blight, I would have had Purple Sun, and I would have had Doom and Darkness. Doom and Darkness would have been good to help me win combats quicker, when he's rolling like a 9 and he's taking 1 wound. That's a lot different if I have Doom and Darkness up. Soul Blight, obviously, it actually was a lot better than Withering, because since he only had a level 1 mage, he would just throw all his casting dice at Withering, and so it only lasts a single turn instead of Soul Blight, which he could not have dispelled. And Purple Sun would have been very nice the one turn that Marathi was on a flank and I instead chose to Wither. I realized if I had Purple Sun, I would have thrown it through the Plague Bearers. I probably would have generated enough extra dice to then get a magic phase on top of that. Marathi is really easy to cast spells with Marathi on like 3 dice plus her extra D3. If I got lucky, I could have killed Epidemius with it. When Marathi was in combat, she still could have been casting Purple Sun. She still could have been casting Soul Blight and Doom and Darkness. She was really kind of constrained, and I never really had the chance to cast Occams because my stuff was all dead and I didn't have dice. So I feel like Death Magic would have been a much better choice, even if I couldn't have Purple Sunned Epidemius. I hate to rely on Purple Sun, but I think in this game that's what I needed to do to both get more magic dice because I rolled very poorly, and then also to kill big bricks of toughness a billion things. The second thing I learned is I really need to castle. I think that if I could have focused a lot more power on units, I could have won. And this is something that I just kind of I was coming off of 2 games where I was the better combat army, and I just kind of rushed forward. I spread out in a normal deployment, and I got hosed for it. I mean, bad play on my part. My fast cav was on the flanks, and all my stuff was deployed in a line. I really needed to castle on one side of that building in the middle of the board and fight 1 or 2 units at a time. 1 unit preferably, get it on all sides, or as many sides as I could, with Blackguard and Corsairs up there, and I needed to run them not wide. I needed to run them small, like bus formation, and just go in there, get a bunch of attacks, and I could focus all my magic on that 1 unit and beat it, and then hopefully stall everything else, and then rinse and repeat. I learned it, but I learned it way too late, and I just played poorly, and I know that that's going to be a better way to do things next time. My list, as you may have noticed from these reports, I feel like it leans a little too much on magic. Magic really carried me through the earlier games. I was getting good rolls, I was getting good spells. In this one, where my choice of magic was bad, my rolling for magic was bad, and really my priorities in the magic phase were bad too. I got bent over a little bit. And speaking of being bent over, Epidemius, he's bad touch, man. I don't really like him. I know that people don't really like Marathi. I don't really like Illyriel from the High Elf book. But man, Epidemius, let me not fight him again. That was a little bad. And this is no dig at my opponent. My opponent frequently places well in tournaments. He is a great player. I have a lot of respect for him, but he made I can't even candy coat it. He made a shit ton of 5-up ward saves, and it just makes me, there was a joke for a while going around our group that all good ogre players make a leadership 7 check, and same thing, all good demon players make a 5-up ward save. My opponent, great guy, very, very tactically sound guy. Also, he can make 5-up ward saves. At least he could against me. And so it was a fun game. It was a very, learning game, but not very highlight worthy for the Dark Elves. All right, so just some final thoughts about the tournament here. I finished 14 out of 30 or 32, somewhere in there, so right around middle of the pack, which makes sense. I got a good win, an amazing win, and then my butt handed to me on a silver platter. So at least that was silver. But like I said, the guy I played in round 3 was number 2 overall, and he's a great guy. Had a lot of fun at this tournament. I was really laid back. I didn't take it too seriously, and that was fun. It was nice to get to play new, like different people. It was nice to get to play different armies. Like I said, I haven't played demons with dark elves, and I haven't played even high elves with dark elves. So it was nice to get some different experiences. The overall person who won played wood elves with the tree man ancient and a tree man, 2 units of 5 wild riders. I think he had dryads in his army too. I wish I had gotten a copy of his army because it was pretty unconventional, and he played a demon player with Bellacore and double, what are they, skill cannons on table 1 for the last game, and I just kind of thought, well, he's got double tree man versus skill cannons. These are flaming strength 10, give me all your points cannons, and I mean, he beat him, and it was more power to him. I'm glad there was 4 wood elf players and 4 dark elf players and 4 demon players. There was one high elf player, I want to say. Hold on. There were 4 demons, 4 dark elves, 2 dwarves, 1 high elf, 3 lizardmen, 1 ogre kingdoms, 3 orcs and goblins, 3 skaven, 1 tomb king, 1 vampire count, 3 warriors of chaos, and 4 wood elves. And so that was fun. I met a lot of nice people. I met a lot of nice people. I know some guys up there, but I met some more nice guys up there. It was really fun. I want to say, second best dark elf, because some of the other dark elf players had some bad luck in their other games. Kind of akin to the luck that I had there in Game 3. They just kind of dealt with that the whole time. The store was a little crowded, but they're moving to a bigger place at the end of this month. Like the 1st of July, they're opening a bigger place, and so that'll be cool. I'm hopeful that they do a tournament about every month, so I'm hopeful I can keep going and keep enjoying myself. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the content. If you did, just click like, click subscribe. We're trying to get stuff up here pretty regularly. Let us know if you need us to do anything differently, and or if you just want to hang out and chat. That's also fun. We're pretty laid back guys here at Bromance, so just get in touch with us. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.